Good morning. How you guys doing? Awesome. I'm Zach. I'm the groups pastor here, and I get the privilege of opening up another series, and it's going to be awesome. I think they let me open these up so I can just kind of say whatever, and then they can all just kind of package it up better at the end. But I enjoy opening them up, so I'm excited about this new series called Stop Attending Church. And it's kind of a weird title maybe, because you're all here and you're like, wait, if I'm not supposed to attend, then what are you wanting me to do? So it's kind of a weird title, but hopefully over the next few weeks you'll be able to understand what we're talking about. So today's going to be a little bit different for me. I'm just going to kind of have an open conversation as a groups pastor, somebody who works with groups, trying to help people connect in groups. Just kind of an open conversation with you guys today about what it means to experience group life and get connected in groups and those kind of things. If you're not there already, if you're in there, you kind of already get this, but it's okay to have a refresher course every now and again. But the deal is we want you to stop attending church. And we're saying that because if you really believe this, I hope you understand that there's a huge difference between attending and belonging. You can attend something and never actually belong or be a part of it. Everybody believe that? You can attend something. I had kind of an example of this yesterday. This is kind of a stretch, but I'm going to go with it anyway. If you don't know me, I'm a football fan, but not just regular football. The NFL is okay. You know, I think it's pathetic you can win 7 games and make the playoffs, but whatever. You know, that's just crazy. All right, so I'm not a huge NFL fan. I'll watch it just because it's something to do on Sunday afternoon before I take a nap. But my passion is college football. I love college football, specifically the Clemson Tigers. Go Tigers. So that's my team. That's who I cheer for. That's who I root for. But yesterday was a little bit different because Saturdays are made for college football, right? Well, a few years ago, ESPN got involved and created this blight, this black spot on college football called Thursday night games. Okay? And it's okay to get them out of the way early, but so Clemson played on Thursday night, which gave a short week, and it was a rough game, but we won, so that's okay. That's all good. But yesterday, I'm used to watching college football on Saturday. More specifically, I have season tickets, so I go to Clemson on 7 Saturdays out of the year, and just am personally involved in it, get all into it. I got my orange, I cheer, I go crazy. I'm a borderline psychotic about it, but that's all good. So yesterday was a little bit different because I cut on the TV, I watched my games. I drove around, watched my iPad. Don't tell the police if you're out there. You know, I literally had it on the steering wheel, driving, watching a game. Yeah, sorry. Hey, it's okay. It's totally safe. I promise. I was very safe with it. But I love college football. But it was different yesterday because I really wasn't personally involved in any of the games. They were good games. They were okay. But it was kind of just like watching it, and I didn't really care. You know, I was like, okay, it's just something to do. So I was kind of like attending, watching, showing up without really having anything in it, without really belonging to anything that was going on. Now, if your team played yesterday, you understand what I'm talking about. You were personally involved in it. So you can attend something and never actually belong to it or be a part of it. And so the difference in attending and what we call partnering here at Journey, the difference in attending and partnering really is rooted in engagement, in how personally involved or personally engaged you are. The difference in just showing up here and attending here is rooted in, are you engaged or are you not engaged? Because you can attend something and never actually belong. You can show up here and never be engaged with what's going on here at Journey. And so today, that's kind of what this whole series is about, that there's a difference in just attending church and being engaged and partnering with a church on our mission as we humbly point everyone to absolute hope. And so over the next few weeks, we're going to talk about what that looks like as being a partner of Journey. There's kind of threefold aspect we're going to talk about over the next few weeks. And I get to talk specifically about groups today, and because it's rooted in personal engagement. And the truth is, whether you've been coming to church for 100 years or 50 years or just 5 days, whatever, the truth is, if you're in this room today, that God, He designed you for more than just showing up. He designed you for more than just showing up here on a Sunday, 1 day a week. He designed you for more than just showing up. He designed you for community. He designed you to experience life together with other believers. That's what the church is all about. That's why this whole thing came into existence in the New Testament, in the book of Acts. God said, I want to give a place for believers to gather and to equip each other, to support each other, to encourage each other, to lift each other up, and to take my mission to the world. He designed us for more than just showing up 1 day a week. He designed us to experience community, to live life together, to encourage, equip, and humbly point everyone that we encounter to the absolute hope of Jesus Christ. He designed us for community. And so Romans 12 kind of alludes to this. Paul does a great job. He wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. In Romans 12, he has this to say about experiencing this life together. He says, just as our bodies have many parts, and each part has a special function, so it is with Christ's body. That's the church. So it is with the church, Christ's body. We are many parts of one body, and we all belong to each other. He's talking about community. Now, our English text, as we've translated the Bible through the years, the Bible was written in different languages than we speak today, and one of those was Greek. And there's a Greek term that's being alluded to here by Paul called koinonia. And koinonia really is, it's a deeper thing than what we have here of belonging to each other. What he's talking about, koinonia really means that you care as much about the other person as you do about Christ. You care as much about someone else as you care about Christ. That's what the concept of koinonia is all about. And our English language doesn't do a great job of communicating that, but it's talking about a deep, sincere love and affection and belief and encouragement for other people. So it's this concept of koinonia, of truly caring about other people. And at Journey, we've tried to encapsulate that as best we can because we don't do membership. We don't have a members class that you go through and you check the boxes. We have a term that we call partnering. And partnering is different than membership because we believe membership, has its privileges and we think it comes with some rights. Sometimes that word membership, just in our society, that's what it's come to mean. Is that, if I'm a member of this, then I should get this and this and this, and that means I have to do this and this and this. And so we don't want to use that terminology. We want you to feel like you're a partner, that you're locking arms with us as a church as we're trying to carry forward the mission that we believe God has called us to in the Lake Norman community. And so we call the people that come here partners. And one of the ways that you partner with Journey is through groups. It's through getting connected, through building community with other people. Because we truly believe this, and it's one of our 4 core ambitions that we mapped out about a year and a half ago. These 4 things that we hope to see in every person that comes to Journey and calls us a place where they're connected and they're finding their community. It's one of our core ambitions. It's the foundational piece of our core ambitions, and it says that we believe partnering brings community. That's why we place the emphasis on it. That's why we're going to spend 3 weeks talking about this, is because we truly believe that if you will become a partner with Journey, if this is where God has placed you to partner and lock arms as we carry forward the mission of pointing people to hope, that it will begin to bring community in your life, whether that's through groups or volunteering or giving or serving outside the walls, that community will begin to happen. And so this morning, I want to talk about what this looks like, what authentic community looks like, because community is great. It's a cool thing, and I hope that everyone gets to experience it. But I want to kind of just talk about what authentic community looks like, because it's different. Authentic community, to experience authentic community, puts something on you and it's something on me. It takes a requirement for us to do. Authentic community requires personal engagement. It requires you to do something. It doesn't just happen. You don't just show up here and all of a sudden you're plugged in and you're connected completely. It requires you taking a step. And on the backside of today's talk, we're going to challenge you to take a step at the end of this talk. And so what I want to do over the time that we have left together is just answer one simple question. And the simple question is this: how can you and how can I experience authentic community? What's it look like? What are the requirements for it? And so I've got 10 things that I'm going to kind of just breeze through in our time together, because I want to leave some time on the back end to let you actually take a step toward community if you've never done that. If you've never taken a step toward that, I want to allow some time at the end for you to be able to do that and take a step toward authentic community. But I believe that if you'll personally engage in these 10 things, that authentic community can begin to happen and develop in your life. And that's what God designed us for, is to experience authentic community. And so we'll move through these pretty quickly. The first thing is this: show up. Now, God designed you for more than showing up, but you show up frequently. You show up. You'll never experience community, authentic community, real community that you deeply desire and that God designed you for if you don't show up. That's a no-brainer, right? If you're not here, you're not going to experience community. So you've got to show up frequently. Look what it says in Hebrews chapter 10. It says, "And let us not neglect meeting together, as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near." He's talking about meeting together, getting together, showing up. Show up frequently. Now, see, I love Journey Church. I love for the 9 years that I've been at Journey Church, what I've always loved about it is we are a safe place for people just to come and investigate and hang out. But at some point, you're going to show up on a Sunday like this, where we're going to challenge you. Okay, you've been hanging out. You've been checking us out, and that's good. We love that. We always want to be a church where people can come and feel like they can investigate and just chill and just hang out and maybe slide in, slide out. We love that about our church. But at some point, we're going to challenge you to take a step, Because we know that God designed you for more than just showing up. He designed you to experience community. And it's not because we need anything from you. It's because we know as pastors and as a church that God has so much more for you through community that can only be experienced through community and authentic community that we have available. And so it's important for us to show up. Here's just a quick little thing. If this is all there is, these Sunday morning gatherings, Journey as a church on a yearly basis, we gather 51 times a year. We always take the last Sunday of the year off to give our volunteers a time just to rest and relax and be with their family. We have 51 times that we meet together on a Sunday. If you came to every meeting, which if you're not connected in authentic community, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But we'll say you do. You come to 51 times a year. That's 51 hours that you're investing in trying to develop a community. How many in here know that that's not quite enough to really develop authentic community in your life? You can't spend 51 hours a year with your wife and hope to be connected to her, can you? You can't spend 51 hours with your children and hope that there's something happening there. It's never going to happen. 51 hours. But that's what some people consider community. We show up on Sunday and we've got our 51 hours in. Community should just happen. It doesn't happen that way. You know it, I know it. I'm not a relationships guru, but I'm just telling you 51 hours ain't going to get it done. Authentic community will not happen in 51 hours or 51 days out of a year. It's not going to happen. So you've got to show up frequently. Everything we do, you've got to take steps. Everything we offer, you've got to show up and show up frequently. That's the first thing. Second thing is be real. Another thing I love about our church here at Journey is we have these values. And one of those values is called just we're real. And when we get surveys from new people that come in and check us out, that's one of the things they always say. We love that it felt authentic and it felt real. And our value states it this way. We want to be real because we know that our stuff stinks too. As leaders, we know that. We know our stuff stinks. We all have, it's life. It's what it's called. Life happens. And we're not above anything. So we want to be real with you, and we hope that you'll be real with other people. But authentic community rides on us being real. James chapter 5 has this to say. It says, let us think of ways, or confess your sins one to another and pray for each other so that you may be healed. How many of you know that confessing your sins one to another, it doesn't happen unless we get real? Even if you're connected in a group, if you're not showing up there being real, this doesn't happen. And we don't always grow if we're not being real with each other. And so the challenge for us is to be real. Authentic community only happens, and it will only begin to happen in your life, and you'll only begin to experience as much as we're being real with each other. So we want to be real with you as leaders and as a church, but we want you to be real with each other as you begin to take these steps toward community. Third thing is embrace accountability. Embrace accountability. Hebrews 10 says this. It says, let us think of ways to motivate one another toward acts of love and good works. That's talking about holding each other accountable. Let us motivate each other. Let us hold each other accountable to acts of love and good works. It's talking about embracing accountability. Now, I have a situation where I've embarked on this kind of whole health journey over the last 2 years, and I started with just running. And so I've been running kind of by myself and just doing that. But in the last 2 months, I decided, okay, I'm going to take a step. I'm going to take a bigger step toward getting involved in a gym. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but I couldn't just go to a Planet Fitness, get my card, because that's just too easy to slip in, slip out, look at my alarm clock sometimes, be like, I'm not going today. It's too hard. So I did this group fitness thing. And so now every day, Monday through Friday, I've got a group of guys, 8 guys, that are showing up to this same class at 5:30 in the morning. That's a commitment. It's a hard commitment, but I know that if I don't show up, they're going to give me so much junk about it. They're going to ask me, was I too good, or was I too sore, or was I this? And as a man, I take pride in that. I'm like, I am sore, but I'm not letting you know. I didn't want to get up this morning, but I didn't want to hear about it from you. And so I have that accountability built in. And over the last few weeks, I've been able to just dive in and do that. And I'm not seeing very good benefits yet, but I'm showing up frequently. And so I'm hoping that the benefits will soon come. But it's all about accountability. And a lot of people, they join gyms, but because there's no accountability, they can slide in, slide out, and nobody's holding them accountable to show up. It doesn't make a big difference in their lives. And the same is true for us. If we don't have accountability in our lives and embrace accountability, because accountability will make us better. It makes you a better follower of Christ. It'll make you a better parent. It'll make you a better husband, a better wife, a better servant when you have someone holding you accountable in your life. So we need to embrace accountability to see authentic community begin to develop. Fourth thing is encourage others. Encourage others. Become an encourager in your life. 1 Thessalonians has this to say: brothers and sisters, we urge you to warn those who are lazy, encourage those who are timid, take tender care of those who are weak, be patient with everyone. We want to be a church that encourages people, because the actual truth is that everybody in this room, we're just one problem, one disaster, one catastrophe away from possibly just losing it all. And encouragement can make the difference in us getting through that problem or not getting through it. Whether we have someone encouraging us or helping us walk through the hard situations. I could go on and on about life group emails that we get about, I was going through this and I shared it with my life group and they met this need. Or I was experiencing this and we prayed about it and God did something amazing. Because life group is where that takes place a lot of times. You get this amazing encouragement from these people that you spend time with, from this authentic community that begins to develop as you show up frequently and embrace accountability, and you're there and they begin to encourage you. You begin to see this amazing thing happen in your life. And so I get stories like that all the time. We as a church get stories all the time about how just a little bit of encouragement helps someone through a hard situation. Whether it was a kind word or a kind deed that they did. Just a little bit of encouragement took them through a very hard situation. And encouragement can make a difference. Don't underestimate the power of an encouraging word. Fifthly, be courteous. And this sounds kind of goofy, but listen to these words in Romans. It says, accept other believers who are weak in faith and don't argue with them about what they think is right or wrong. How many of you know somebody that's going to, somebody has a different opinion, you're like, no, that's wrong, totally wrong. Let me put you in your place. Sometimes we have those people in our life groups that are like, no. We need to practice being courteous. Let's keep reading in this chapter 14. It says, for instance, one person believes it's all right to eat anything, but another believer with a sensitive conscience will eat only vegetables. So we got the meat eaters and the vegans, and they're going at it. God gave us animals to look at and pet and have fun with, not to eat. God gave us all these vegetables to eat. No, God gave us everything to eat. So they're having this quarrel. You got these vegans on one side and these meat eaters, these protein, these Atkins people on the other side. Say, no, we're right, you're wrong. No, we're right, you're wrong. So there's this tension going on. Let's keep reading. It says, those who feel free to eat anything must not look down on those who don't. And those who don't eat certain foods, don't condemn those who do, for God has accepted them. And finally, he says this. Who are you to condemn someone else's servants? Their own master will judge whether they stand or fall, and with the Lord's help, they will stand and receive his approval. It's not your job to always be right in every situation. Newsflash, no one is always right all the time. Even me, I was wrong one time. No one's right all the time. We've got to be courteous. You've got to understand that there are some people that are just getting into this thing called the Christian life. And they're trying to figure it out, and they don't know all the answers. And if you're just constantly attacking them, guess what? They're not going to care to learn all the answers. You've got to be courteous. We've got to be courteous as we engage people here and as we move into authentic community, engage people in a smaller context. Practice being courteous. Respect everyone. Love everyone. Help them. Allow God to speak to you how you should help them and assist them. Because authentic community allows for differing opinions. Sixth thing, it's kind of similar to that. You got to care about other people. You got to care about other people. Romans 12 says this. It says, be happy with those who are happy and weep with those who weep. That's talking about genuine care for other people. You might know the word sympathy. That's what it's saying, is sympathize with people. When they're happy, celebrate with them. When they're sad, cry with them. Sympathize with them. Care about others. Get out of your own little circle, your own little world sometimes, and begin to embrace and care about other people. That's what Paul's talking about. Authentic community cares about other people. And see, my thing is that the church, I know a lot of churches that don't do this. I've heard of a lot of churches that don't do this, and it makes me sad because church should be the one place that you can come and know without a shadow of a doubt that you're going to feel cared for, that somebody's going to know your name, that somebody's going to give you a high five or a handshake or a hug, that somebody's going to be there for you. Church and group should be the one place that you can constantly count on, that when I show up there, I know someone's going to care for me. And it doesn't always happen. But I pray and I hope that Journey will always be a place where when people come through that door, they feel genuine care. They feel like we care about them more than anything else. And we hear that a lot from new people, that, hey, we came and we felt like you were talking just to us and you spent time with us afterwards, and we're so grateful for that. We don't get that everywhere we go. Thank you so much. And I hope that continues to be a staple of our church and our groups as we go forward, that we're always a church and a body of people that care about other people. Because we need each other. No one is meant to be alone. No one. Even the most introverted person among us that's like, I don't do life with other people. I just do my own thing. You're not meant to be alone. Deep down inside, you have a longing to be cared about, to know that someone knows your name, to know that someone is there with you, that someone will fight for you when things are bad. No one is meant to go through life all alone. And we have to be a church that cares about other people. And seventh thing, so we got to be humble. Got to be humble about it. Look what it says in Romans 12. If you want a discourse on how you should live, just read Romans 12. If you haven't picked that up already, okay? If you want to know, like if you're a list person, okay, what do I need to do? Just read Romans 12. And there's some good stuff in there. Romans 12:16 says, "Live in harmony with each other. Don't be too proud to enjoy the company of ordinary people, and don't think you know it all." It's talking about humility. It's talking about being humble. You know, I heard a long time ago, humility is not thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking about yourself a little bit less often. It's thinking about others more than yourself and putting yourself lower. That's what Jesus did. He lowered himself to death, even death on a cross, which was just a shameful way to die in those days. But he humbled himself. He became a servant. And that's what he calls us to do too, is to be humble. And humility means these three things. Humility means that we're honest about your weaknesses. That's what it means when you're really humble. I'm not talking about that fake humility of, hey, I'm really humble. You can tell everybody you know. That's not real humility. Humility is saying, you know what? I struggle with this. I struggle with fear. I struggle with my finances. I struggle in my marriage. I struggle parenting. I have these struggles. It's being honest and real about your weaknesses where you don't have it together and you know that you need help. It's not assuming I know it all or understand everything completely. That's what humility means. It means that you understand, okay, I don't know it all. I need help. I need guidance. I need someone to support me and walk with me through this. Thirdly, it means being willing to admit a mistake. That's hard for me. I don't know if that's hard for anybody else in this room, but that's hard for me. I will fight to try and prove I'm right sometimes. And so I want to be the kind of person that says, you know what? I royally messed that up. And when we do that, it enables us to say these things. When we're honest about our weaknesses and we don't assume we know it all, it enables us to say these things. And these are hard things for us to say, but humility allows us to be able to say, you know what? I need your help. I need help, period. I'm a typical man. That's a hard thing for me to say. I try to get through it on my own any way I can. But when we're humble and we realize that we have weaknesses and we need other people, it allows us to say, I need your help. It allows us to say, I was wrong. And ultimately, it allows us to say, forgive me. Will you forgive me where I've wronged you, where I've messed up? See, humility, to me, is the key that opens the door to authentic community. Without being humble and realizing these things that we just talked about, you'll never experience authentic community because you'll think you know it all. You'll think you're above other people being engaged in your life, and you'll just never experience authentic community. So humility to me holds the key to opening that door of authentic community. The eighth thing is practice mercy. Practice mercy. Colossians 3 says this: "Since God chose you to be the holy people that he loves, you must clothe yourselves with tenderhearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others." Now, I'm going to throw a little warning out there. If you do take a step today toward community, I'm going to let you know that everybody in this church, we're not perfect. And if you experience a life group and you go to a life group meeting long enough, guess what? Someone is going to offend you. It's going to happen. Because we're all fallen, we're all sinners, we all have our own stuff we're dealing with, and at times we think we know it all and we get it all wrong, and we may rub someone the wrong way. It's going to happen. If it hasn't happened already, it's going to happen. But it's in those moments that we have this opportunity to show mercy. See, we can use those opportunities when we're wronged or feel slighted or feel like someone's done us wrong to either stand up and make it a fight or an argument, or we can make it an opportunity for forgiveness. We can fight them on it and say, you were wrong. You were so wrong. You shouldn't have done that to me. Or we can say, you know what? I'm just going to forgive you. I'm going to let it go. Because you know what? That's mercy for us is ultimately rooted in the mercy that God showed us, in the forgiveness that he gave us that we didn't deserve, but he gave it to us. And that's what he calls us to do. An authentic community allows for us to show mercy to other people. Because when they're wrong, we can show them mercy. And when we're wronged, we can extend that mercy to others. Number 9, keep it confidential. I was joking this morning, I was going to say keep it on the down low, but I don't think anybody says that anymore. So I would have really dated myself. But I'm going to say keep it confidential. And this is an important one. I want to go back to the Old Testament. It says in Proverbs, there are tons of verses in Proverbs that allude to this same thing, but I just picked this one. It says, a troublemaker plants seeds of strife, and gossip separates the best of friends. Now I want to camp out here just for a second because our hope and our desire, my hope and my desire is that our church and specifically our groups would be a place where authentic community begins to happen, where you can feel like you can be real and be honest and be open and be transparent. But can I tell you that that's never going to happen if you can't trust the people in the circle that you're with? It's never going to happen. If you can't look across the room and say, I can share anything with this person, and I know that they will keep it between us. Or if you think they're just going to go out and tell everyone they know, real authentic community will never happen. And so my hope and my desire is that our groups and our church will be the safest place for people to come and share everything they're going through, no matter what it is, big, small. Doesn't matter what they're going through, that they would feel safe enough and they would feel like it's a confidential place where they can share anything that's going on in their lives. But it only happens when we make the choice to keep it confidential. As individuals. Nothing undermines authentic community like gossip. Nothing. It's littered all through Proverbs and in the New Testament. And the reality is that life is real. Real stuff happens, and you need a place where you can go and share everything that's going on in your life. And trust that the people that are around that circle, that are looking you eye to eye, will keep it confidential, will keep it between you two. Lastly, the 10th thing is live united. Live united in purpose. 1 Corinthians 1 says, I appeal to you, dear brothers and sisters, by the authority of our Lord Jesus Christ, to live in harmony with each other. Let there be no divisions in the church. Rather, be of one mind, united in thought and purpose. That's what we're calling you to. That's why we call this partnering and not membership. Is because we want you to lock arms because we want to be united for one purpose, and that purpose is to see the Lake Norman community changed by the absolute hope of Jesus Christ. And it only happens when we get over ourselves, we're real with everybody, we do all these things, but ultimately we're united in that purpose. We lock arms together and fight for each other. And the deal with unity is it's not based on us all being just alike. That's not what we're wanting you to do. We don't want a bunch of mini Matts running around. That's not what we want. It's not based on us all being exactly alike, but it is based on a common purpose. That's why you hear us say, we want to humbly point everyone to absolute hope every week. If you want to know what we're calling you to, that's what we're calling you to. That's the purpose behind what we do. And we've got to be united on that purpose if we're going to see the Lake Norman community changed by that hope. You know, in the book of Acts, in the first 5 chapters alone, this theme is alluded to, this unity theme is alluded to so many times. And in those first 5 chapters, we see the New Testament church go from just a small little scattered group to just massive following. We see incredible miracles taking place. And I don't think it's any coincidence that it was rooted in united in a united front and a united purpose to see the hope and the fame of Jesus Christ broadcast to the world. God showed up when they were united in one purpose, in one mind, in one heart. And I pray and I hope that Journey will be that kind of church, that we're all so united that we begin to see miracles. We begin to see incredible things happen in the Lake Norman community, in your neighborhood, in your homes, in your families. That we see amazing things happen because we're united in one purpose, one mind, one heart. Live united. So those are the 10 things. So it's just more of a conversation, more of just a heart and a brain dump for me today. As someone who tries to get people connected, get you fired up about groups, I can't do anything for you. I can just tell you that authentic community is available. And if you will begin to take a step in these 10 areas, if you'll begin to be real, if you'll begin to embrace accountability, if you'll begin to show mercy and all the things we talked about, if you'll begin to take steps in these areas, I will 99.875% guarantee you that you will experience authentic community. Leave a little room for error, because nobody's perfect. But if you'll begin to take steps, and today I'm going to challenge you to take a step, because authentic community requires personal engagement. I can stand up here and just say, please, 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 please do this, do this, do this. Again, it's not because we want anything from you. I don't need anything from you. We don't need anything from you, but we know as a staff and as a church that when we get involved in community, God does something amazing in us, through us, and for us. And that's why we spend time talking about it. That's why we have things like Group Link. That's why at the end of the service today, we've got some round tables set up in that little glass area. And some of our life group leaders, some of them just formed at this last Group Link a few weeks ago. They're going to be out there. They'd love to meet you. They'd love to help you take a step toward community. And listen, if none of those work for you, come find me. We want to find a place for you to take a step. We'll keep working at it. We have a saying around here that we're all just a little bit weird, and we just got to find our kind of weird. And sometimes that takes a little time. It takes a little bit of time sometimes. But take a step. And so we're having this thing out there. We're starting it today, and we're going to do it a little more frequently. We're just calling it a 10-minute party. So right after this service, you just go out there. We're going to have life group leaders out there, those who are looking to kind of connect with some new folks, other folks who maybe you've tried life groups before, you've just given up on them. We've got that going on. We also have access group signups. Take a step towards something to begin to experience authentic community in your life. So that's the challenge, because ultimately, as I said earlier, our core ambition says this: partnering brings community. So take a step, lock arms with us, take a step toward partnering with us as we want to see the Lake Norman area changed by the absolute hope of Jesus Christ. Let me pray for us, and then Matt's going to come up and share one more thing. God, I thank you for just the opportunity just to share my heart for everything you've put in me to hopefully see our groups at this church become a place of just real, authentic community that sees people's hearts and lives changed as they encourage each other, as they equip each other, as they hold each other accountable. God, I hope and pray that if there's someone in here who hasn't taken that step, who maybe has some fear to get over, that you would just help them today to take a step toward community. Over these next few weeks, God, if they don't plug in with groups, we have other ways to partner. And God, I pray that as we unpack it over the next few weeks, that you would just help everyone somehow lock arms with us as we want to be united in one purpose, one mind, one heartbeat, to see this area changed by your hope, by your grace, by your love. I thank you for Journey Church. I thank you for everything it's been to me. And I just thank you for a place where people can come and just experience the real, authentic love from people, but ultimately the real, authentic love of Jesus Christ. And so, God, I pray that you would just stir hearts, minds to take a step. If not this week, then next week, and at some point in this series, that they would begin the process of partnering with us as we point people towards your hope. We love you. We thank you. And it's in your powerful name I pray, Jesus. Amen.